Hey, you're a game developer? Me too. So odds are you're probably on the video because you need a little bit of help with your level design. And I've got good news for you. I've got 5 tips right here that I figured out through trial and error so you don't have to. These should help you create mostly any type of game, but especially the last one will help you improve any project you're working on by so much. Number 1. Don't be afraid of speedrunners. We all want our players to play the exact way we imagine them playing through our game, but if you've ever gone through any type of playtesting, you'll know that players, in fact, love to not do what we imagined they would do. Now, there's 2 ways you can react to this. Filling up every last corner of your game with the prevention for sequence breaks, or maybe you could embrace it. Allow skilled players to skip sections of your game. Of course, don't publish your game as a buggy mess, but if there's shortcuts that you didn't think of, maybe just think how likely is it that somebody is going to stumble upon this by accident. Because if you need to do a very precise series of inputs to pull off a skip, I'd say the player actually deserves the right to have that skip. In my own 3D platforming game, I'm making sure to actually build in some skips. I want players to go through this whole series of jumping challenges, but if a player is skilled and curious enough to try things a different way, they should feel free to. Number 2, just like steal things. Honestly, I don't want to be the guy that says there are no new ideas, but most of the creative process is just remixing things you already know. The human brain is literally incapable of coming up with new and novel ideas out of nowhere. If you don't pick things you like from other games, your brain will just do it for you. So you might as well take that control and pick some things that you like, whether it be mechanics, design elements, a level or a character, or anything. In my own game, I have a little section of one of my levels that's taken straight out of Mario 64, and the main character takes heavy inspiration from Vivi from Final Fantasy IX. Of course, don't copy a whole game, but picking and choosing small elements from a list of your favorite games can really help you get inspired and give you a really good starting point to build off of. Number 3. Don't be a Mario Maker creator. This should go without saying, but difficulty should have some level of progression in it. Generally, I would say that any given mechanic goes through 3 main stages. An introduction, where you have to use the mechanic to progress, but failing won't really punish the player. Let them try as many times as they'd like. Make sure they can't accidentally finish this part, so make it do them 2 or 3 times in a row. If they get the mechanic, doing it twice won't be a big deal. If they don't get it and somehow manage to skip the first part, the rest of the level will be hell for them. In section 2 we introduce a fail state. If you mess up, you take damage, you die, you reset, whatever your game does. In this we slowly ramp up the difficulty until we get to stage 3. Here we go all out. Make the mechanic as difficult as you'd like, but maybe consider giving the player a checkpoint right before it. But how do we make things difficult? Let's talk about that. Number 4. Complexity versus precision. Here I have 2 jumps. One is hard and precise, the other is complex. In almost all cases, choosing the complex jump is going to be better for your level design. The player will feel less annoyed when they fail it by just a few pixels, and they'll feel a lot more pride for actually making it. Even though both of these jumps should be about equally as difficult, at least in a general sense. But how do you put this into other genres? Well, in an RPG boss fight we could give this boss double health, but that makes the fight just longer. Maybe it takes a few more potions, but it's not really more difficult. But if we give an ability that negates 1 attack per turn, you still effectively double the HP, but now the player has to use some amount of strategy to deal with that, instead of just sitting there bored, brute forcing their way through. Number 5. Perceived versus actual danger. This might be one of the most important things to satisfying level design. Make your players feel like they're in a lot more danger than they actually are. How? I'm glad you asked. Here we have a flamethrower. Where should we draw the hitbox? At the edge of the flame? No. While that makes the most sense, you'll end up having players get annoyed because it feels like they died without touching the flames. If you instead make the hitbox about half the size of the flames, players will feel like the flamethrower is much more fair, and if anything, it'll give them the "I should not have survived that" moment, which always feels good. But this idea works on literally anything you can think of, like Coyote Time, a German platformer where you allow your player to jump for a frame or two if they're no longer touching the platforms. HP bars that don't scale linearly, so that when the player feels like they're one hit away from death, they still have about 30 or so % of their health left over. With anything you do, make sure things look and feel a lot more dangerous than they actually are. We're game developers, not scientists. Our job is to create an emotion in our players, not be the guy that says, well, actually, it's programmed fully accurately. I hope these 5 tips will help you with your development process. If you want to keep up to date with my development process for the game that I'm working on right now, do hit the subscribe button down below this video, and also don't forget to ding the bell icon to stay actually up to date with those uploads. You can press the like button if you want to see more of this type of content. It really does help show me what type of content you guys particularly enjoy. But until the next time, I really gotta get back to developing my own game. I'm kind of behind schedule as it is.